After 10 years of marriage with my wife, I tried everything but couldn't melt her heart. Yet I saw with my own eyes as she took her first love's arm and walked into a love hotel. When she came home that night, I didn't say much. I just placed a divorce agreement in front of her. She picked it up and held it close to her eyes, her hands trembling as she set it on the table, and said angrily to me, "Tell me why you want a divorce." I said furiously, "Then you tell me. Who can tolerate their own wife being intimate with another man? Ling Yu, you know we grew up together since childhood. Like brother and sister. Let's divorce." Shinjai didn't finish her sentence. I raised my hand to cut her off. "I loved you for 10 years. Even if your heart was made of stone. You should have warmed up by now. But you treated me like a monkey. Ling Yu, it's not what you think." I sighed and said, "Your heart, or did you ever love me?" Shinjai remained silent. "Ling Yu, between me and Wang Yu I swear. I am innocent. I just helped him with business. I'm just a nobody, average and mediocre. And I know you never thought highly of me. Your father used money to control you, to keep our marriage stable. And you used the money to help Wang Yu." At that I looked up angrily at Shinjai. "And you used my love for you to control me. What a perfect cycle. Was I the perfect tool? Haha, you are despicable." My face was sorrowful. I laughed a bit crazily. "Ling Yu, calm down." I glared at Shinjai and said word by word, "Don't deceive yourself. And don't deceive me. I know you've been waiting in your heart, only because of pressure from your father. I didn't dare to ask for a divorce. In matters of the heart we're both failures. There's no good outcome if we keep going. I'm the one initiating the divorce. Maybe it'll be easier for you with your father." Silence fell between them again. "Just sign it." Shinjai stared at the agreement, staring blankly. "Ling Yu, you can't do this to me. I gave you all my youth. So my youth was fed to the dogs?" I leaned back and laughed out loud, suddenly stood up. "Shinjai, give me a break. How about it, for the sake of 10 years as bedmates? 10 years as your cook? I'm only taking what I bought myself. You can rest assured. I won't take a single cent from you. What I'm taking includes my salary, clothes I bought, my car. That's it." My words severely wounded Shinjai's pride, and seemed to tear off the last shred of decency. Over the years, I had never treated her, always kept quiet, even when we both knew the truth. We never spoke it to preserve our dignity. But today I was so direct and unyielding that it threw Shinjai into panic, and my words utterly shamed and enraged the proud Shinjai. In Shinjai's world, no one had ever dared to speak to her like that. Shinjai's knuckles turned white as she gripped the divorce papers. She picked up the pen and fiercely wrote her name, then turned and left the table, heading upstairs. I stood up, put the agreement in my backpack. "I'll pack up and leave. Take care of yourself." Shinjai, walking up the stairs, paused for a moment, then hurried on. After returning to the room, slamming the door shut, bang, I finished clearing the table. Washed the dishes. Table was clean. First I took a look around the first floor, locked the front door, then went upstairs, checked my room, looked at the row of gifts from Shinjai, neatly arranged on the bookshelf, remembering the memories tied to each gift. Finally, I stood at Shinjai's door. "I'm leaving." Went down to the basement, garage, opened the car door, got in, started the engine, waited a bit, lit a cigarette and started smoking, pulled out my phone and called Fatty. "Come out and have a drink with me, buddy, I'm driving out." Second floor. The room I used to stay in was dark. Shinjai stood by the window for a long time. From the moment I left the front door until I was out of sight. At the restaurant Mom's home cooking in between. That night I got dead drunk. I was completely wasted. I wanted to get drunk. Gave Fatty a hard time. He struggled to get me to the hotel. Set the bottled water on the nightstand. Fatty tidied up, closed the door and left. The next day the sun was bright. Light filtered through the curtains. Patchy light spots fell on me. If I weren't a construction worker used to drinking, there's no way I'd be able to get up. Washed up, ate breakfast, drove to the office. Just got to work. Heard the company was laying people off. Soon after, my boss called me over. I tucked the cigarettes in my pocket. Walked into the boss's office. In the afternoon, HR called me in. Explained how the severance was calculated. Confirmed my years of service and the severance amount signed. Then they told me to come in tomorrow to handle the resignation paperwork. I'm about to say goodbye to the place I've worked for 10 years. Those 10 years went from schoolboy naivety to understanding the rules of society. It's the decade that marks the end of everyone's youth. I came to the office to pack up my personal belongings. Picked up the termination papers. After getting signatures from HR, finance, and my department head, all the paperwork was done. Said goodbye to my colleagues in the department. I bowed to everyone. Thanked them for their cooperation at work. Walked downstairs, ready to leave. At some point, without me noticing, my subordinate sister Hui Hui was already waiting for me in the parking lot. She was holding a black bag. I figured it was cigarettes. I walked over to her, put my stuff in the car, turned around, opened my arms, and hugged Sister Hui Hui, patting her on the back. Sister Hui Hui's eyes were filled with tears. Take care, boss. I said to her too. Take care of yourself in life and at work, okay? Started the car, waved to her and said goodbye. Aside from gratitude to the company, there was also a sense of mourning for my youth. My heart felt heavy, but there were still things I needed to take care of. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel at peace. Sent a WeChat message to Ouyang Nana. Asked for Wang Yu's phone number, so I dialed Wang Yu's number. I heard a noisy commotion on the other end. Wang Yu, it's Ling Yu. Let's meet up. Wang Yu let out a snicker first. The location is Peninsula Coffee on Huazhong Street. Without waiting for my reply, she hung up. I drove toward Huazhong Street. Arrived at Peninsula Coffee. Found Wang Yu already sitting in a booth by the window. I ordered a latte. Sat down next to her. After a moment of silence, I lowered my head and spoke. Xin Jiai and I signed the divorce agreement. Wang Yu stirred her coffee with a spoon. You should have left her a long time ago. Her shouldn't have gotten married. You're not good enough for her. If she hadn't married me, you wouldn't have any allowance to support you. I shot back sarcastically. Wang Yu shot me a glare. He turned back contemptuously and kept stirring his coffee. Wang Yu laughed scornfully at the fool of love. A useless man. Women can only be fooled by morons. She's been waiting for you. I know I'm not good enough for her. But you're not good enough for me either. You're the worst of the worst. Scum of society. Dregs of humanity. When Wang Yu heard this, he breathed heavily, on the verge of rage. I kept going unconcerned. But I still envy you. Ridiculous, right? A model citizen, actually envying trash like you. How ironic is that? Hearing that, Wang Yu laughed. You're a hick. What do you know about a woman's heart? Wang Yu smirked. Since you're divorced now, I might as well teach you. Women are meant to be lied to. They chase the strong. They're used to being led and being impulsive. You have to learn to control the rhythm. Push and pull, coax and soothe. Get it? That's how you win the heart of the woman you like. When it comes to this, you're garbage. Wang Yu snorted, saying contemptuously, probably thinking he was a master at playing women, and he loved to lecture. After a moment, he added, women at Xin Jiai's level would never fall for a nice guy. They only like bad boys, because only bad boys can stir up their inner desire. If a woman doesn't have you in her heart, sleeping with her for 100 years won't do a thing. I nodded numbly. I gestured for her to continue. Wang Yu hesitated for a moment. He took a sip of coffee. When a woman like her tries to conquer or reform a man, she considers a scoundrel. She's done for. She falls into the whirlpool of love. It's a timeless rule. Wang Yu seemed to have won the battle. He started talking a mile a minute, from how he and Xin Jiai were childhood sweethearts. I cut him off, deeply hurt and gloomy. I looked up at Wang Yu. Do you really love her? Hearing this, Wang Yu's heart began to struggle. He had loved too many women in his life. The one he loved most definitely wasn't Xin Jiai. Otherwise, he would have changed his ways long ago, and become a decent person. At least let Xin Jiai see early on. Some hope. I added. After all this, don't lie to me. I just want the truth. Wang Yu instantly thought carefully for a moment. Then, after thinking, I love her, but not the most. Money, that's what matters most to me. I need to bring my family back on its feet. I said angrily. A despicable man uses tricking a woman's feelings as a means. Then Wang Yu let out a scornful laugh again. I turned and walked away in anger. I got into the car, lit a cigarette, opened my phone. Using WeChat, I sent the recording of our conversation to a chain hotel in Bincheng. The morning sun shone on me. The alarm went off. I found a tour to the outskirts of Ice City. I followed the tour group around. Although I've lived in Ice City for years, I never really took a good look at this beautiful city. After getting married, Xin Jiai was always busy. Even less did she have the leisure to walk with me. Looking around at the scenery, my mood slowly improved. Time flies. The day of the divorce is drawing nearer. Finally, this day has come. Also about to say goodbye to the past. The new life is about to begin. Open WeChat. Find Wan Shi. See you tomorrow at 8 at the Civil Affairs Bureau gate. The next day, after cleaning up, drive out, stop and go along the way. Arrive at the Civil Affairs Bureau half an hour later. Waiting for Xin Jiai. 7:58. Xin Jiai gets out of the Panamera. Slowly walks toward the entrance. Haven't seen each other in a month. She is still noble and indifferent, standing alone, unmatched in the world, waiting for Xin Jiai, until she reaches the door. As the two walk side by side, neither says a word. Xin Jiai glances. I look away. We walk inside together, take a number and line up to enter the mediation room. Both parties waive mediation, submit documents and fill out forms. The staff member asks, "Are you two voluntarily divorcing?" Yes, they answer in unison. Sign and receive the divorce certificate. After receiving the certificate, The two walk out. Walk to Shinjai's car. Both stop. Take care of yourself. Take a deep look at Shinjai. Seeing Shinjai's red lips slightly part. Before she can speak, I walk toward my own car. Shinjai calls out to me. The sound of high heels comes from behind. Shinjai quickly catches up, hugs me from behind. About to part with me, the one who lived with her for 10 years. Shinjai cannot contain the mixed emotions inside. Maybe it's because of the debt she owes me, or the guilt she feels toward herself, or the fear of breaking the routine life we had. Right now, she wants to say a proper goodbye to me. Will you give me a hug? From behind me came Shinjai's voice, and both her voice and her body were trembling. I turned and looked at Shinjai's long eyelashes, her narrow eyes, arms slightly open. I pulled Shinjai into my arms and held her tight. After a moment, I patted her on the back, then pushed her shoulders with both hands, looked at her delicate face, and softly said, "If there is a next life, let's be strangers." Slowly letting go of Shinjai, I turned around resolutely and didn't stop even though I heard her sobbing behind me. I thought I was strong enough to face this moment. People always take things for granted, but reality turns out differently. I got into the car and couldn't help but sigh. A wrong relationship is ultimately worthless. In the end, you have nothing. I started the engine and drove away. 10 years ago today, we registered here. I can still clearly remember that moment. 10 years later today, we got divorced here. I wish I could forget these 10 years. If the spring wind had mercy on fallen petals, could it let me be young again? If there is a next life. The next day, at the entrance of Dragon King Village, the tall old poplar tree by the roadside waved its palm-sized leaves, its figure full and graceful, swaying gently, radiating lush vitality, in stark contrast to how I felt. The trees in the village blocked the view of the entire village. Only the tips of second-floor rooftops peeked out, making it recognizable. Dragon King Village faces the sea to the west. Takes about half an hour to walk from the village to the beach. Those who live on the mountain live off what it provides, living off the sea. On the road, you could see a lot of people driving electric tricycles, heading back from the beach to the village. "Hey auntie, what did you haul in today?" I saw Aunt Wu, my neighbor, roll down her window and say, "Little fish is back. Got some fresh yellow croaker today, want some? I'll give you a bottle." Aunt Wu said warmly, "Thanks, auntie. You've had a long day, huh? Get home early. Thanks." I actively cut off the conversation. Didn't dare to keep chatting with Aunt Wu. If I kept talking, she'd ask why Shinjai didn't come home for dinner. "Did you two have a fight?" Once I answered, "I guarantee before dinner, the whole village would know no media needed, and no village media outreach. Back when I got engaged to Shinjai, within an hour, the whole village already knew." Experience from someone who's been through it. When passing the village entrance, you gotta speed through. If an acquaintance stops you, you make an excuse that you have something urgent, and quickly get out of the village. The media are the real tycoons of the media industry, a completely non-profit organization that can spontaneously and effectively organize activities. Extremely efficient, especially the middle-aged aunties with scarves. In some ways, they're even tougher than war correspondents. For example, what I'm really afraid of is still to come. I drove into my own yard. On the east side of the yard, there's a small vegetable patch, with all kinds of seasonal vegetables. The yard has everything, growing beautifully. Jiang Fengying heard the noise, looked out from the living room, saw me coming back, and hurried out to meet me. When she saw it was only Lingyu, she laid into me right away, asking, "Xiaoyer, why are you the only one back?" I said in a low, muffled voice. He was busy and didn't have time. Jiang Fengying helped me bring the stuff inside. "It's not New Year's. No New Year's celebration. No holidays. Why buy so many things? I haven't been back in a while, have I? Missing you." When Jiang Fengying heard her boy say this, she finally cracked a smile. "Mom, sit down. Let me talk to you." Jiang Fengying was all smiles. I clearly explained the whole story of my divorce with Shinjai to my mother. Jiang Fengying was stunned for a long time, not reacting. Jiang Fengying got up, went back to her room and never came out. I worried that my mother might be in trouble alone in her room. I went into the room to check. As soon as I entered my mother's room, I was met with a broom handle. Jiang Fengying, with concern, reached out and wrapped her arms around her son's head, patting him continuously, like when she used to coax him to sleep as a child. If it weren't for her stubbornness back then, her boy wouldn't have ended up like this. Such a handsome man has aged into a middle-aged man, without even leaving any descendants. And this is what it came to. Tears instantly streamed down without me even realizing it. Said softly, "My son, I'm so sorry." A few days later, the compensation finally came through. Overjoyed, I immediately transferred it to my mom's bank account. I opened WeChat. Sent 8888 to the user, ice cold moment. "Here's a red envelope for you, sis. Your little brother came into some money recently. Ice cold moment. Has accepted your transfer. Thanks little bro, kiss emoji. I smiled knowingly. Everyone likes a little cash. Money. The 5th day after returning home, I decided to set out. On short videos, I really envied others' poetry and faraway places. With my mom's words of caution ringing in my ears, I drove to the airport. First stop, Gillen. The mountains and waters of Gillen are the best under heaven. Starting from Penang Airport, one layover for the flight, takes nearly 6 hours to get there. Plenty of time. When I drove steadily past the home I once shared with my ex-wife, I pulled over to the side of the road, looked inside. Not many people on the road at noon. People sometimes don't want to face an ugly past. How to choose? Most people would choose to run away, escape from the people or places they don't want to see, because those people or that place once held memories that are unforgettable yet painful to recall. Same as most animals. We all have a natural instinct to seek benefit and avoid harm. Self-protection. I don't want to remember the people, things, or places related to my ex-wife either. But I still wanted to take a look at that house. From the entrance of the residential complex, I could see the balcony of the room I used to live in. That was where I often paced late at night. Something's off. Smoke was rising from the attic roof. Could it be on fire? The kitchen is on the north side, not on the south side. Couldn't see clearly. So I opened the car door and drove right in. Car. A 5-minute walk can take a while when you're running. The higher I went, the more people there were. Some were calling the police. Some were holding buckets of water. But no one was actually rescuing anyone. People in this upscale complex value their own lives more than anything. I ran to the door, gasping for breath. I said to the old man next to me, Uncle Xie, it's me Shaolian. Is Shin Jai inside? Thick smoke was already billowing at the entrance. The old man shook his head. I grabbed the bucket of water from his hand, poured it over myself, and charged inside. I reached the front door of the first floor, grabbed the door, and pulled the handle outward. Couldn't pull it open. Then ran back to the window, peered inside. Couldn't hear a sound. Couldn't see anyone either. Flames were blazing on the staircase of the first floor, roaring with thick black smoke. What do I do? What do I do? My whole body was trembling. I pried a brick loose from the flower bed in the yard, aimed at the glass door and smashed it once, twice, 3 times. The glass shattered. Reached in, twisted the lock open, pulled the door wide and rushed in. Shinjai wasn't on the first floor. I headed to the basement. The mahogany stairs from the basement to the first floor were already on fire. The basement, the living room sofa and mahogany coffee table were all bursting into flames. Why did my father-in-law use so much expensive wood for the renovation? No time to worry about that. I charged down the stairs. Hey, Shinjai, where are you? The basement had no ventilation to begin with. Now it was filled with thick smoke. I thought for a moment, let's check the media room. Maybe she's there. The suffocation was getting stronger. I shoved hard against the KTV-style double doors. They didn't budge, so I braced myself and kicked the mahogany door straight on. The door opened. Inside, the smoke was much thinner. I saw Shinjai motionless, covering her nose, crouched under the bar counter. On the sofa against the wall were 2 men and 1 woman, half-conscious, covering their noses. One of the men was Wang Yu. I had to check if Shinjai was okay. I hurried over and held her in my arms. Saw the still wet tear tracks on her face. Lifted her up and ran out, dodging the flames, licking the handrails. Afraid they'd burn us. Shinjai finally made it outside. Burst through the front door. Set her down on the edge of the flower bed. Found some water from a neighbor. Put out the flames on my own pants. Splashed some clean water on Shinjai's face. She slowly came to. He patted her cheek, calling out his name. Seeing Shinjai's eyelids flutter, he patted her a little harder. Shinjai slowly opened her eyes. Her pupils slowly came into focus. Shinjai, who am I? Ling Yu's tears immediately streamed down. I smiled, out of breath. Okay, you're awake, that's what matters. Ling Yu snapped harshly. I told you to take care of yourself. Look what you did. Fairy tales. Are they really that fun? Shinjai choked up at his words, crying. Ling Yu poured water over himself. Went back to save someone. First, he carried the woman on his back. She was weak. I was worried she'd suffocate. Shinjai's face was streaked with tears. She looked at my disheveled state, and couldn't help trembling as she spoke. Ling Yu, if you can't handle it, don't push yourself. My face was covered in black soot, almost like an African. I bared my white teeth, turned my head and shot Shinjai a contemptuous glance. Do you realize? If I hadn't rushed in, you wouldn't have had a chance to survive. As the words fell, I poured more water over myself, and charged back in. Shinjai hadn't thought of that in her panic. When I finished speaking, she was frozen in shock, shaking uncontrollably. As for the other guy, he died because of that dog. The man was left at the front door on the top floor. Thick smoke rolled out from inside. I groped my way down the stairs. When I finally reached the stairs between the first floor and the basement, I kicked a few tables off the steps. I gritted my teeth and pushed forward. After all, I had a life on my shoulders. Climbed up little by little. Whole body was incredibly sore. Lungs felt like needles. Dizziness kept hitting. Felt like I was about to explode. Physical strength was severely overdrawn. Eyes were already hallucinating. On the stairs from the basement to the first floor. The last step, victory in sight. I rushed out with all my strength. Together with the man on my shoulder, I fell to the first floor ground. That man let out a few groans. I also groaned twice. So painful, so fucking tired. Gritting my teeth, ignoring the scrapes on my arms. Struggled again to handcuff the man. About to see the light, but then tripped. Both fell out together. The man on my shoulder fell out first. I followed closely. Just before landing, our heads knocked together and I lost consciousness. I don't know how long passed. Lingyu, how are you? Go to the hospital and get checked, Shinjai asked nervously. I didn't answer. The fire truck finally arrived. Firefighters wearing masks and carrying water guns rushed and sprayed. After the ambulance also arrived, kept spraying water into the basement. Firefighters finally could go down to the basement. I finally recovered. Sat up dizzily. Looked at Shinjai not far away. She was arguing with the first woman rescued. Struggled to stand up. Move around. Body should be fine. So I walked toward the two of them. Listened for a moment and understood. That woman didn't get Shinjai's consent. Brought that bastard Wang Yu here. Then tried to mediate. I guess the mediation failed. Then Wang Yu set the fire either to die together, or to play the hero rescuing the beauty. Lingyu, you're awake. How do you feel? Go to the hospital and get checked. I glanced at Wang Yu lying on the ground. The medical staff had finished giving Wang Yu oxygen. Seeing her coal-black face, she flashed a row of bright white teeth. She said to Shinjai, guard against fire, guard against theft, guard against your best friend. Look at your childhood sweetheart and your best friend. What a waste of food. Shut up. You're a clueless redneck. Who do you think you are to judge me? Shinjai, the friend said. I thought to myself I should have just saved you. Right then, Shinjai swung her hand and slapped the friend across the face. A handprint instantly appeared. She turned to look at me. Lingyu. I grinned widely, shook my head. Shinjai, wish you both long lives. She turned and calmly walked into the crowd. Among the crowd, she glanced back, then left the plane with a smile. During takeoff and climb, the powerful thrust pressed me into the seat, which I found kind of thrilling. I thought if I ever bungee jump, would that be even more exciting? If I get the chance, I'm definitely doing it. Would that be even more intense? I raised my hand to check the time, and suddenly noticed something. I was still wearing the watch I'd forgotten to return to Shinjai. It was the one she gave me when we got engaged, a gift from Shinjai. I'd worn it for over 10 years, even though later she kept sending me all kinds of luxury watches. So I made a decision. After getting off the plane, I'd find an SF Express drop-off and mail it back to her. If you're going to forget, forget completely. Since I'd been resting well recently, I didn't feel drowsy for a while. I spent the trip eating, drinking, and sleeping, until my calves were so swollen I couldn't take it anymore. And finally I arrived at Gillen Airport. Phew, finally free. Under the resentful look of the girl the minister introduced, I dragged the chosen local guide to the front desk to settle the bill, and walked out of the hotel. The local guide's name is Milan. I followed Milan's entire itinerary. I heard they checked into an inn that night. It looked ancient style from the outside. Once inside, the quality wasn't low. Almost 4 stars. The key thing is it was very cheap, because after Milan used a coupon, the price was $398, almost half price. I was very satisfied with that. The third day's itinerary was 10-mile gallery, a bamboo raft on the Yulong River. The guy steering the raft, typical Gillen look, deep-set eyes and a mouthful of white teeth. His smile was clean. I thought maybe it was related to the environment. Living in such a beautiful place, their smiles are so natural. Indeed, the water and soil of a place nurture its people. Admittedly, on the third day we finally went to Silver Rock Cave. Visit Silver Rock Cave and you'll never lack money for a lifetime. So I hope everyone gets rich. Before I knew it, a week had passed. These days my body was tired, but it felt like my soul and mind had been purified. I like it here. No plans to leave for now. So I first transferred 20,000 yuan to Milan, which is 20 days' salary. More or less we'll settle later. Milan happily kissed me on the cheek. At that moment we were eating lunch. I was full, leaning back in my chair, picking my teeth with a toothpick. Suddenly I remembered the thrill on the plane. I immediately sat up straight. Milan, is there bungee jumping around here? I want to go bungee jumping this afternoon. Milan slowly swallowed the food in her mouth. She grabbed a tissue and wiped her mouth. Yes, there are 2 spots. One is over the river, and one is on a high mountain. Which one do you want, Brother Lin? Which one is closer? I thought to myself I need to be able to get back easily. after finishing the bungee jump. Today's schedule is over. Back at the hotel we'll find something else to do. Milan said the one on the mountain is closer, so we went there. I'll pay the bill. The two of us took a car and left. A little over an hour later, we arrived at the bungee park. Paid asked about medical history. After confirming everything was fine. Milan, you dare to try it? If you want to, I'll pay. Milan shook his head. Had enough. Hearing that, I gave him a thumbs up. Milan stood outside watching. Occasionally smiled at me. When the worker was tying a buckle, I noticed the safety locks clip was a bit deformed. I asked for a different worker. He said, don't worry, out-of-towner. This thing gets used over 100 times a day. With your weight, there's no pressure at all. I was a bit doubtful. Okay, you're the boss. Fastened the harness. I slowly moved to the edge of the platform. My heart started pounding, like drum beats, and getting stronger and stronger. Yeah, this is thrilling, I shouted. Born again. Closed my eyes and jumped, feeling the wind rushing past my ears. Whoosh whoosh, adrenaline spiking. I could barely breathe. Milan, watching from above, felt his own heart race. Hit the bottom in an instant as everyone watched, waiting for the rebound. The buckle snapped. I knew, damn it. 2 words flashed in my mind. Land in a box. Then Milan heard a thud. Didn't even have time to scream. Lingji! Milan yelled, dazed. Crying, couldn't take it. A living person disappearing right before his eyes. And we traveled together for so many days. Little fish, wake up. Little fish, get up for your mother. You're about to go to college. How can you still be so lazy? Her loud voice bombarded my ears. My body felt as if weighed down by a nightmare. Dazedly, I glanced at the bedside. It turned out Mom had closed her eyes again. I casually brushed it off. Mom, let me lie down a bit longer. My whole body aches. I can't muster any strength. Jiang Fengying glared. Lying down, I came to the bedside, touched my dog son's forehead. Then she left angrily. At this moment, fragments of memories were playing chaotically in my mind. Strangely, why are the company's blueprints so clear? As if they were photocopied into my brain. Floor plans, assembly 3D drawings, process drawings. Then the image froze on the moment the seatbelt snapped. Damn staff, can't they trust Ling Gong's judgment? Fucking hell. I must tell family and friends. Don't seek thrills easily. Even a seatbelt strapped on isn't safe. And jumping from such a height, etc. Then I quickly felt the back of my head. It was intact. That shouldn't be. I struggled for a long time, then sat up. I looked around. This is my own room. This Kobe Bryant poster. Where's the pitch-black phone? When I saw the phone placed on the bedside. This Nokia 6600. He remembered this was after the college entrance exam, receiving the admission letter. A reward from Mom. He could almost hear his heart pounding violently. He jumped out of bed. Mom, what are you doing in a hurry? Getting up so late. Hungry. Wash up and eat. Looking at Jiang Fengying's young face. Without a single gray hair. Even her sideburns were black. Mom, am I dreaming? Pinch me. Come on, what's wrong with you? Still half asleep. Jiang Fengying looked at Dogger, confused. Mom, just pinch me. Seeing me act like I was sleepwalking, Jiang Fengying twisted my ear and gave me a punch. Mom, let go. The pain made me wince. Jiang Fengying let go. She looked at her son like he was a total nutcase. I rubbed my ear. The pain slowly faded. Mom, give me a hug. Come here, son. I just had a nightmare. Tears streamed down my face like broken beads. Jiang Fengying reluctantly pulled her son's head into her arms. I bent down to cooperate, making it easier for her to reach my neck. As she held me, Jiang Fengying sensed something was off with her son's mood. So she patted me twice. In the middle of my grief, I confirmed I had really been reborn. Her embrace was just as warm as before my rebirth. I thought about it and cheered up. It's a blessing that my parents are still young. I wiped my tears. Mom, what's for breakfast? Take a look. When will I ever grow up? Crying in Mom's arms. A college student with a runny nose. Jiang Fengying turned to get the food ready. She said as she walked, Mom, even if you're 90, you're still my son. Eat up. Stop talking nonsense. I wolfed down my food. I ate 3 huge bowls of coarse corn porridge. Finally, the weakness faded. After eating, I washed the bowls. I went out into the yard, looked around the familiar yard, then bowed respectfully to the sky, thanking heaven for giving me a second chance at life. My mind keeps calling out the system. Over half an hour passed. Called out into the void, whatever. This way it's better to live out my true self. Before I knew it, night fell. Only a sliver of light remained on the horizon. Smoke from cooking fires rose from the neighbors' houses in the village. Today I pulled several swimming crabs and red-clawed crabs from the crab pot. Tonight we're in for a treat. Irby, the young man who's really an old kid. Thinking happily, Mom, how do you cook flying crab and red-claw crab? I asked cheerfully. You do nothing all day. How do you have the nerve to ask? Covered my head. This mouth of mine, tomorrow at noon come. The guest should get up early and go to town to buy some groceries. Who's coming to our house? You know who? Dong Wenhua. You came when you were in middle school. Our family bought you clothes and books. Remember? Kind of remember. I'm completely losing it. I don't understand the past life. She hasn't come since her college entrance exam. Has she? Did I cause this myself? Didn't she just call before? Now she's coming in person. Better hide. But where? How do I come up with an excuse? Little fish, get up. Go buy groceries for your mother. You hear me? Startled, I sat up immediately. I stood on the windowsill, pushed the window open, looked down at the village from the second floor. Life bustling all around. Lush greenery. Shouted, it's great to be alive. Jiang Fengying poked her head out from the ground floor doorway, tilted her head and glared at me to get down. Yeah, okay, Mom. No choice. The boss controls the money. As for bowing and scraping, no way to be happy. At all. Don't even think about it. Crushed by bloodline and finances. Completely and utterly. Grabbed a quick breakfast. Hopped on the motorcycle and left. Lin Fushuan's bike was a Suzuki 100 series automatic. Simple and easy to ride. Sometimes his mom could ride it too. Riding the motorcycle, enjoying the warm summer breeze in his face. The wind carried the scent of trees, flowers and grass. It let him bask in the vitality of life. He treasured this rare opportunity deeply. Learning to feel, learning to appreciate the menu at the small market. Tofu and spare ribs, prawns and conch. I sighed at the prices, over $100 on the table and still not enough. Stuffed it between my legs, in the gap of the motorcycle. Held it tight with my thighs. Rode home. Riding my little scooter. Taking you to see the never-setting sun. I hummed all the way home. Mom, I'm back. Before I even stepped through the door, I quickly scanned the room. Thank God, only Dong Wenhua was there, with a warm smile on her face. But she didn't look all that enthusiastic. Dong Wenhua looked at this handsome young man, her eyes sizing him up from head to toe. She said softly, little fish, you've grown so much. Ha, come here. Let me get a good look at you. Let's have a chat. Jiang Fengying couldn't hold back her smile. I shot my mom a look of complaint. Jiang Fengying ignored it. I heard you're going to study in Fengqing too. My daughter's at Fengqing Normal University. She'll be a junior by the time the semester starts. Dong Wenhua said, her voice calm and unhurried, gentle as water. Sounds reassuring. And at this time, my middle-aged ex-mother-in-law could be described as elegant and wealthy, with a graceful demeanor. As for my ex-mother-in-law, I still respect her in my heart. She once treated me like her own son. But thinking of Shen Jai, my mood immediately darkened. My mom says she's a top student, worth learning from. Jiang Fengying was steaming crabs, while eavesdropping, listening to Dong Wenhua who hadn't stopped chatting since it started. Seeing their satisfied expressions, her smile grew more affectionate. She looked exactly like a mother-in-law eyeing her son-in-law. I was extremely annoyed. She and Jiang Fengying are my #1 enemies. Shen Jai is the executioner. None of them are good people, waiting to be dealt with one by one. I thought to myself, in my past life I was ruined by you and Jiang Fengying, and by your daughter, and now it's happening again in this life. If not for the divorce, I wouldn't have been able to go relax. If not for going to relax, I wouldn't have gone seeking thrills. Bungee jumping of all things. In this life I won't do 2 things. 1, be your son-in-law. 2, bungee jump. Have a seat. I'll go grab some clothes and take a shower, hold on. They both said in unison, what's up? I looked at these 2 villains. Dong Wenhua exchanged a glance with Jiang Fengying. Jiang Fengying spoke up. Jai is sleeping in your room. I barely managed to keep my expression under control. Even after being a section chief for over 10 years, I couldn't handle this shock. A bit unhappy, I said, fine, we'll talk later. Mom, I'll go meet my dad. Stepping out the door, where no one could see me, my face darkened. Dong Wenhua called Shen Jai to eat. On the first floor, the entrance leads to the living room and kitchen. The dining table is in the living room. The living room is to the west, the kitchen to the east, and she's helping bring out the dishes. Seeing the 2 come down, her eyes greet them. In my heart, although, I still took the initiative to say hello. Hello, my name is Lin Yu. Just call me Xiaoya. Shen Jai was a bit stunned. Because of my words. Hello. First time meeting. I brought you a gift. Wait for me a moment. Only paused for a split second. In an instant, she returned to her calm style. She talks a lot more than before. A young girl's youth is full of vitality. Watching Shen Jai as she starts to trot, her ponytail bobbing up and down with a certain charm, a touch of spiritedness, a hint of playful innocence, yet lacking the aloofness. In the end, gained a bit of earthly warmth. She brought back 2 boxes. For shopping bags. These are 2 sets of athletic wear I bought for you. These are 2 pairs of shoes I bought for you. The sizes are the same as Zhang's. Try them on in a bit. Her cherry red lips slightly open and close, speaking slowly and deliberately. Her voice is clear and crisp. The ancients described it as large and small pearls falling onto a jade plate. That's exactly it. I took it with both hands. Thank you, and put the things to the side of the living room. Everyone sits down together. Jiang Fengying uses the serving chopsticks to pick up food for Xinjai. I wrinkle my nose slightly, looking disdainfully at my mother's show of flattery. Eating and chatting. Recalling stories from the older generation's youth. Recalling the passage of time. I chime in every now and then. Mostly stories about experiences from the 60s to the 80s. People back then were lucky just to survive. After summer dinner, country folk would go out for a stroll. Some also watch TV. The village media center must be very bustling. I, along with Shin and her mother, choose to cool off in our own courtyard. I light mosquito-repellent incense. They started chatting one sentence after another. Sister Ingzi, is Xiaoyer a few years younger than you? Shin's mother asked. 3 years younger. One born in 82, the other in 85. Xinjai was eyeing me on and off all night. The night was deep. I didn't see it either, just heard them say so. About to drop the bomb. I quickly cut in. Aunt Dong, did you save my child? Yes. At that time, after I returned to the city, I married his father. 1 was the one-child policy. 2, we were both busy with work, so we held ourselves back. Shin's mother looked at me with satisfaction. Just adult talk, the family type is confirmed. So how about considering having another son? After I take you as my godmother, you'll have an extra son. My family only has me, so then I'd also have an extra sister. No need to be so lonely. No. Both mothers said in unison. No. Asked. The scene fell silent for a moment. Jiang Fengying looked at me and said, when you two were born, you were betrothed by pointing at the belly. A child marriage arrangement. Dong Wenhua nodded firmly in agreement. Xinjai turned her head to look elsewhere. Silence is golden. I said, no wonder you were so eager before. And the Shin family's conditions were so good. And yet didn't object. He looked at his own mother. Then looked at his father. Then looked at Shin's mother. Confirmed it was the truth. Next, I was testing the edge of self-destruction. I said to Jiang Fengying, Mom, I have someone I like. Jiang Fengying's eyes widened. Pointing at me, say that again. I have someone I like. I said in a low voice. Say it to me again. Jiang Fengying's voice grew colder. She pulled her finger back, hands on his knees. Knowing my own mother. This is a sign she's about to strike. So I said obediently, no, I didn't. I was just kidding. But she suddenly stood up and said seriously, but my sister has a boyfriend, right? And their families should be on equal footing. Don't go playing matchmaker, Mom. And Dong Ming, my sister and her boyfriend. You know them both very well, don't you? Jiang Fengying glared at me, then looked at Dong Wenhua and Xinjai. Get the hell out and take a shower. Sleep in the west room on the first floor tonight. Sure thing. I replied and skulked away. When the situation is against you, it's best to retreat. Running while thinking of a plan. Xinjai's face was calm, staring into the depths of the night. Dong Wenhua and Jiang Fengying exchanged glances. A silent conversation between them. Back then in the countryside. In summer, showers used hot water bags. Big black water bags. Filled in the morning. The water was still warm by midnight the next night. Bored, I got up to look at the shoes Xinjai gave me. Pair of Adidas. Pair of Nikes. I put on socks and slipped them on. 1 Adidas, 1 Nike, just right. An unknown pair of jeans. Plus 2 t-shirts. Really extravagant. For who I am now. My ex-wife is still as beautiful. Still so aloof. Not as domineering yet. I don't want anything from Xinjai in this life. So facing my ex-wife from a past life, I feel completely at ease. No more inferiority or longing. Just a bit more freedom. This muggy time to sleep. The countryside at night is still quite stuffy. Only electric fans or handheld fans. But the peace and quiet of the countryside, closer to nature, but something the city can't replace. The next morning, the sun rose. Golden rays pierced through the thin clouds, rushing toward the west. The village roosters were crowing loudly. Occasionally, a few barks from Wonkai could be heard. The slow pace of the countryside really soothes the nerves. I sleep downstairs at night, close to the kitchen. The sky hasn't even started to lighten yet. Mom is already up. Every now and then I hear the clatter of pots and pans. I lie in bed, listening to the sounds. For a moment, I suddenly feel so happy. There's a kind of love called, Mom is making you breakfast. It's just 5 o'clock in the morning. The Shin mother and daughter haven't gotten up yet. I leaned close to my mother. Mom, did you call Auntie Dong over? What are you planning to do? Jiang Fengying stared at me coldly. She said with no good humor. Raising a son is nothing but trouble. What's wrong with finding you a wife? You're still not happy? I was like, it's not that I wasn't willing. It's that she didn't want me in my past life. If it weren't for my father-in-law's help, I wouldn't have married Xinjai at all. After all, money talks. But then again, the old man's judgment was spot on. I think I'm a good family man. Shinjai being blind isn't my loss. Alright, that's also 10 years lost. This is mutual destruction, isn't it? Crouching down to start the fire, the summer flames were especially scorching. I looked up at my mother stir-frying, thinking, how could I convince my mother not to grab the bird? Mom, you'll get your son killed. Did the landlord's daughter ever fall for a hired hand? I asked the ultimate question. Jiang Fengying gave me a look of disdain. She kept stir-frying, meaning, what the hell do you know? In my mother's eyes, am I still just a little brat? Back in your day, a live-in son-in-law. Would he get beaten at his father-in-law's house? Would he eat better than a dog? I ignored my mother's murderous vibe and kept up my magical attack on Jiang Fengying. Her hand with the spatula paused. Then she went back to stir-frying, didn't acknowledge the dog's son. I heard the clattering of the steel spatula against the iron wok. The rhythm got faster. The sound got louder. I could tell my mother wasn't speaking, but those words had hit home. Otherwise she wouldn't be cooking like that. I hit her with the soul-searching 3 questions. Asked Mom about the live-in son-in-laws from her time. Did they sleep on the floor or in the cowshed at night? Jiang Fengying dwelled on the first 2 questions. Then she asked the 3rd question. Damn it, it's like he's trying to throw me into a fiery pit. This current him definitely doesn't know. He's the one who pushed his own son into the fiery pit, but she was still furious. A son is his mother's heart and soul. Whoever dares to treat her son like that, she would fight them to the death. The angrier she got, the more she kicked me right in the hip. Knocked the dog son flat on his ass. Ow, Mom! What are you doing? I said, putting on a cute act, complete with an innocent look. Jiang Fengying suddenly felt something off. Talk normal, for God's sake. Okay, Mom, I said with my eyes down, behaving like a well-trained pet. Then I went on. That boyfriend of hers is real. You didn't argue at all. And they grew up together from childhood. Can you understand that? So what do you want to do? Jiang Fengying had a strange feeling that her good-for-nothing son had been slipping out of her control lately. He was measured in his actions. She felt like she was being played. I said, you can't get mad, okay? His family is way too rich, and he's so outstanding in both looks and talent. Why would he ever fancy your son? Even if he did, your son couldn't handle it. I wanted to talk you out of that idea. I caught my breath. In other words, with the Shin family status, plus Shin Jai's own qualities, the sons of noble families, the sons of wealthy households, the sons of tycoons would absolutely line up for her. Mom, society is divided into classes. Our family isn't rich, but we're decent and comfortable. I want to talk with you. Don't force it, alright? Jiang Fengying dished up the food, covered it with a bigger bowl, to keep it warm. Mom, can I say something? When I saw my mother didn't respond, I asked again. Go pick 2 tomatoes for me. I gave a helpless grin. Will Mom actually listen? I handed the tomatoes to Mother, and went into the yard, to help Dad with the car where there were several holes, for Lin's father to patch. I took out a cigarette and handed one to my father, then lit one for myself and started smoking. I looked at my father's face at that moment, without as many wrinkles as in the previous life, and my mood instantly lifted. Lin Zhonghua turned his head slightly, withdrawing. His gaze that had been fixed on the distance, looked at me and said, you didn't fancy that girl? No, it's that I'm not good enough for her family. In looks and education, I'm outmatched. If we got married, everyone from both our families would be dragged into trouble. Unhappy. The most crucial thing is, she has a childhood sweetheart. They grew up together since they were in diapers. And it's still going on to this day. No matter what, I won't agree to it. No one would agree to that, right? What's the point? Grew up. Dad, you're getting old. I agree with you. Tell me about your mom and dad. Just now I praised my son. Such childishness. Father and son were busy working together. In my past life, I didn't cherish it. But at this moment, he was unusually serious. Because he was very happy. My room on the 2nd floor. Shin Jai stood on the balcony, watching old Mrs. Lin busy in the yard. The corners of her mouth turned up. Her lively eyes sparkled with some unknown light. Shin's mother appeared behind her without her knowing when. Jai so lost in thought. That young man is pretty good. Huh? Mom, what are you talking about? I'm hungry. Can we eat now? Your mom made it early this morning. She's waiting for you. Let's go. Breakfast on the table. Tomato and egg soup. Beef buns. Stir-fried dried radish. Coarse corn porridge. Boiled eggs. Because I woke up early or because of rebirth. Need for energy or constipation. I feel like I'm turning into a food hog. After cleaning the table during the digestion break, we chatted about having guests at home. If the guest doesn't offer to leave, the host won't ask them to. I sighed inwardly again. This is still not over. I decided to hang out with my old dad all day today. I followed closely behind. After a little while, Jiang Fengying called out. Little fish comes back. Oh, okay. I answered readily enough, but I wasn't happy about it. What's she up to now? I moved fast. Soon back in the living room waiting. Jai wants to go beachcombing. Take her with you. See what goodies you can find. Got it. I finally looked straight at Shinjai's denim miniskirt. Her unknown brand white t-shirt. Her unknown watch, none of it suitable for going out to sea. Mom, your sun hat. Find one of my middle school summer uniforms. Find a clean set. I turned and said to Shinjai. Sister, you need to wear a hat. Long sleeves. Take off the watch. Wear gloves. Otherwise you'll get sunburned and scratched. Did you bring sneakers? Shinjai looked at my serious expression. She replied about the sneakers. In the car. Everything else, I'll follow your lead. I'll go find you some gloves. Then let's go. Mom, your arm covers and clothes. Dong Wenhua's eyes lit up. What a good pig. So considerate. Arranging everything well. She was practically saying, hurry up and steal my cabbage. You're overthinking it. Little fish will never touch your iron-hard cabbage. Whoever wants it can take it. Not bragging. I don't even want to look at your cabbage. In fact, I find it pretty annoying. What I was thinking. Nobody else knew. After Shinjai got ready, the two of them set off. I took Shinjai following the old man's footsteps. I walked in front. Shinjai stayed a step behind, watching the teenage version of me nonstop. It was probably a village near the coast. The sea breeze is a bit strong. Shinjai's eyes are a little red. I walk ahead, unaware. The two of us walk in silence. I'm not overly warm, nor too cold. Shinjai breaks the silence. She says, is the school you got into Fengcheng University? What major, huh? Mechanical and Electronic Engineering at Fengcheng University. Shinjai keeps asking, have you been to Fengcheng? I'll take you when school starts. I reply back, I've already made plans with a classmate. Thanks. But inside I think, who hasn't been there? I even spent 4 years there. I'm not going to willingly get tangled up with Shinjai. I flat out reject her. I didn't expect her to take it so well. She wasn't even upset. What grows in the fields around Lini? Pointing at the corn, she says. That's corn. The porridge we had this morning. It comes from that. Then the two of us keep walking. I start naming the crops we see. For Shinjai, who's always lived in the city, she listens with great interest. After walking for over 20 minutes, we finally see the sea in the distance. Facing the ocean head-on, the distant water is a deep color. Today is sunny and calm. The beach is bustling. Not many tourists. Most are out for their daily catch. At the entrance, the sandy beach stretches south on the left. On the right are mudflats and reefs. The spots where the catch comes in are mostly on the right, a small hill about 10 meters above sea level. Where it meets the water, exposed huge rocks. There's a deep gully in the middle, winding and twisting. You can use it as a shortcut down to the beachcombing area. But the uneven ground with all the bumps and dips makes it hard to walk. I take the lead and start heading down first. I stop to see if Shinjai can handle it on her own. I realize I underestimated her. She moves gracefully. Her lower body is strong, so she keeps going. I stop to watch. We repeat this until we safely reach the bottom. I lead the way in front. I take Shinjai to look for some clams and conch first. Then we'll go find her dad. I turn to her and say, sis, let's grab some seafood. How about we add a dish for lunch? As I'm talking, I look at the Shinjai in front of me compared to her past self. Who wouldn't like a vibrant, youthful Shinjai? But honestly, I don't. Shinjai eagerly says, sure, pure dark cloud. I shiver and quickly say, then let's get started. I'll show you first. So we start teaching and doing it together. We quickly catch some. When you're in a good mood, you just glow. That's Shinjai, self-reliant and hands-on. This style is totally her, doesn't depend on others. Only by doing it yourself do you get that satisfaction. I take her to the next level. Hunting for conch, since we have to move between the rocks. I'm worried she might fall or get scraped. Shinjai uses both hands and feet. Her great physical condition makes it easy for her. Right now she's squatting down, grabbing the edge of one rock with both hands, trying to slowly reach and step onto another rock with one leg. I couldn't help sneaking a few glances. Even though she's wearing a school uniform, her long legs and curvy butt, the pose she's in, too tempting, gross. Men never learn from their mistakes. I despise myself. I look away. Amitba, touching the conch. Love touching the conch. An hour passed. Through their hard work together, they harvested about 20+ fragrant snails of various sizes. Shinjai is overjoyed. I thought to myself, the seafood is really abundant at this time. In my past life, picking up a few in an hour would have been worth celebrating. Shinjai is still fighting, showing her crazy side. Serious and determined. 2 strands of long hair fall on either side of her face. 2 drops of sweat haven't yet gathered enough weight. Sweat beads hang on her hair tips as she works diligently. Accompanied by sweat, perfect side profile. Really feels like the girl next door. Shinjai adjusts her hat with her hand. She uses her index and middle fingers to smooth back the fallen long hair. Her bright eyes look at me. A happy smile appears on Shinjai's face. Following closely behind me, completely unconcerned about the mud and sweat on her face. The two of them walk towards Father Lin. My eyes lit up, preparing the first magic, and start with big steps. Slow down. After Shinjai matches my pace, I turn to her and say, "Is your boyfriend from the same school as you?" Shinjai stopped in her tracks. Her narrow eyes fixed on me, staring at me, with a clear, curious gaze. She shook her head silently. I kept going. Move 2. A sister who looks this good must have a long line of guys chasing her. Shinjai's cheeks flushed slightly. Maybe it was just the sun beating down too hard. She glanced at me sideways. Her eyes curved at me. Silence is golden. We walked on together. I said to Shinjai, "From now on, you're my sister. After all, you could use an extra little brother." Seeing how sincere I looked. Sincere words. Shinjai thought coldly for a moment. She took a few steps away. A bright smile spread across her face. Stopping, she said to me, "Okay, brother." At that moment, I was overjoyed inside. Finally, the first safety net was in place. I felt a weight lifted off my heart. After that, I talked more with Shinjai. As long as I avoided people and things from my past life. Arriving at the spot where Lin's family goes into the sea, I started explaining to Shinjai the method of hauling nets, and how to get more catch. About half an hour later, Lin's father came up carrying a tire tube. I quickly took the bag from the tube. Took Shinjai to explain the types of fish and shrimp separately, to keep the seafood fresh. The catch needs to be put into buckets filled with seawater. The tube is a car tire's inner tube. Usually, it's a large truck tire's inner tube fully inflated. It has great buoyancy in the water. A net is woven with rope across the center hole. It's very useful in shallow waters. When transporting the catch, it can be towed with a single rope. Shinjai loves seafood. She likes fish, shrimp, and shellfish. So seeing so much catch, she was overjoyed. She carefully sorted the catch. "What is this scaly fish called? How do you eat it?" Shinjai asked. "Around here, we call it fathead fish, because it has a big head and a slender body. This type is good for making dried fish. Gut it and clean it thoroughly. Salt it and then sun-dry it. Once it's dry, fry it in oil. Serve with coarse corn porridge. It's a great accompaniment to rice." Heh. I looked at her expression. "You want some? I'll have my mom prepare some for you." Shinjai nodded happily. This time, Lin's family went into the sea again. On stilts. This time going down to get the crab pots. The pots are set deep. Gotta use stilts. Shinjai looks out at the sea. At Lin father's spot. Waiting patiently. Hoping for some different seafood. After nearly an hour, Lin father comes back. This time he brings back conch. Red shell swimming crabs. Around here they're also called flying crabs. This time I didn't let him do it. Worried about his soft skin, no joke. The big claws on those red shell crabs are way too strong. If one pinches his hand, it'll probably break the skin. I quickly sorted and packed them. A beachcomber's harvest. A sense of satisfaction wells up. Maybe it's in the genes of the ancient Chinese people. Labor's reward is the satisfaction of food. It eases the fear of having nothing to eat tomorrow. Since ancient times, our ancestors learned to stockpile. This morning's harvest is bountiful. Shinjai is really beautiful in this period. At this moment, I'm just purely appreciating the goddess's beauty as a young girl. At this moment, I feel like I've broken out of a dead-end situation. At this time, the midday beachcombers need to head home. Pack up the goods. Lin father drives his three-wheeled motorcycle. Carrying the gear and the catch, he roars off. The two of them still stroll leisurely toward home. The tide is coming in. The waves are gradually getting bigger. On the way, they start talking more. After I put a lock on the relationship between the two, my guard drops a little. Shinjai acts like a curious little kid. Laughter and cheerful talk. They happily make it back home. Back home. The routine of changing clothes and bathing is mostly the same. Lunch is almost all seafood. After lunch, digesting, chatting. Shun's mother suggests heading back to the city. Jiang Fengying tries to persuade her to stay several times. Shun's mother politely declines anyway. Back to the city. Lin family still packs her a ton of salted fish. Dried scallops, dried oysters, dried frozen fish. Fresh fish and shrimp paste. The trunk was stuffed full. Dong Wenhua pulled me close. Looked at me carefully. Her warm gaze could melt me. "When you go to Ice City, call Auntie. I'll treat you well. Take this little red envelope with cash." Without waiting for me to agree, she stuffed it into my hand. I squeezed it and felt a number inside. I replied happily, "Thank you." I remembered how my parents-in-law from my past life were good to her. For a moment, I got a bit emotional. Said to Dong Wenhua, "Are you sure you don't need a son? Look at me, I'm hardworking. Smooth talker, warm heart, strong sense of responsibility. Think about it." Dong Wenhua gave him a sidelong glance. Said softly, "Get lost. Go to school and study hard. Come over to our place when you have time." I'll treat you well then too. She didn't pay him any more attention, said goodbye to Jiang Fengying. Shun's mother and Shinjai started the car. Jiang Fengying kept seeing them off, all the way to the village entrance, watching the small car disappear into the distance. I stood behind my mother and observed her. The reason my mother kept in touch with Dong Wenhua for over 20 years. From early letters to later, phone calls were the spiritual civilization shaped by that era. Classmates nowadays have each other's numbers. Might not even contact for over a decade. Back then, carriages and horses were slow. A whole lifetime was only enough to love one person. Nowadays, no matter what, the pace is fast. Sometimes love is just fast food. I decided to find a pure kind of love. If I can't find it, I won't settle. Find someone who knows when you're cold and when you're hot. Someone who cares about you. That woman who rushes toward you as you rush toward her. The summer breeze was warm, pushing aside those heavy plans. When the heart is free, the world feels wide. Happiness is what matters most. The afternoon sun was blinding, especially not for those heading south. Dong Wenhua was driving, had to wear sunglasses. The car's AC was on. His skin felt dry and comfortable. Dong Wenhua turned his head slightly to glance at his daughter, then looked back at the road. Said, "Honey, was the countryside fun?" Shun Jai recalled. "Yeah, it was nice. Felt pretty fresh. And relaxing. Would you come again next time?" Shun's mother asked. "Yeah. I come back to go clam digging. It was really fun." "Mom, what was that thing you and Jiang Yi talked about last night, the arranged marriage?" "That thing. It's a long story." Dong Wenhua recalled. Dong Wenhua pulled the car over to the side of the road. His daughter wanted to ask him, so he explained the whole story from start to finish. Back then, Dong Wenhua was sent to the countryside for the youth program. Didn't have enough to eat. Didn't live well. The Jiang family was one of the few in the village that could eat enough, because the Jiangs had many sons. And Jiang Fengying was the youngest daughter, with 4 older brothers at home. Back then, whoever had more male children had more power and wasn't bullied. Jiang Fengying had a fiery and bold personality. She often took care of the gentle Dong Wenhua. Soon they became close friends. Jiang Fengying often helped Dong Wenhua earn work points. The winter before returning to the city, they went up the mountain to gather firewood, to collect more. They went deeper into the woods. They ran into 4 spotted wolves. Dong Wenhua was terrified and froze, could only cry. Jiang Fengying, with her hot temper, saw Dong Wenhua like that, so she grabbed a thick tree branch 2 meters long, and faced off against the wolves. Thanks to Jiang's brothers all being hunters, she had learned a lot. So Jiang Fengying didn't panic. Confronting the wolf, you can't make the first move. You have to face the wolf head-on. Hold the stick and block him. The side he's trying to get close to you on. You need enough patience. You can't injure him first. You have to outlast him with patience. And you definitely can't run. If you run, it'll attack you from behind. A human can't outrun a wolf, so he shielded Dong Wenhua behind him. Jiang Fengying's eyes were wide open, facing off against wolf after wolf. Dong Wenhua later calmed down too, following Jiang Fengying's instructions. He picked up a long stick to guard her back. The wolves were incredibly cunning. The alpha wolf lost patience, howling, as if calling for more pack members. Jiang Fengying's 2nd and 3rd brothers spent almost the entire winter roaming the mountains, crept up slowly with their shotguns. When the moment was right, they pulled the triggers decisively. 2 gunshots rang out. 2 wolves fell. The other 2 turned and ran. From then on, Dong Wenhua stuck to Jiang Fengying even more, for that damn sense of security she gave him. As Dong Wenhua talked, he kept sighing deeply. If it weren't for Jiang Fengying, he would have lost his life. When they returned to the city, neither wanted to part, so they arranged a future child marriage. Back in the city, Dong Wenhua took the college entrance exam. They often wrote letters about their lives. Shin Jai was drawn into the story, staring blankly the whole time. "Honey, what do you think of Xiao Yue? Do you like her?" Dong Wenhua teased Shin Jai, said she's pretty good. She takes care of people, and she's thoughtful. Shin Jai gave her opinion on Dong Wenhua. "Look at my daughter with pride. My own daughter. No wonder she's a top student. She sure knows how to size people up. Wang Yu and Little Fish. Who do you like better?" Dong Wenhua kept asking her daughter. Shin Jai remained silent. "But it doesn't matter if you like him or not." Dong Wenhua was hinting that the arrangement was off. "Ha, what a shame. I actually really like Xiao Yu." Dong Wenhua kept teasing her daughter. Shin Jai stayed quiet. She just opened her bright eyes and looked at her mother, waiting for what came next. Seeing the expectant look on her daughter's face, Dong Wenhua decided to stop teasing her and said, "I've noticed Ling Yu has a confidence and maturity beyond his age. He doesn't try to impress us just because we're rich. He's probably thinking about how different our family backgrounds are. Plus, he might think you're too outstanding. Family, looks, intelligence. Little Fish is good-looking too, and does well in school, but still not as good as you." Putting myself in his shoes, I agree with Little Fish's decision. She's worried nobody would be happy. Because marriage isn't just about two people. Marriage is about two families. He's the best young man I've seen among his peers. She finished, watching her daughter Shinjai clasp her hands together, her two thumbs resting against each other. Dong Wenhua didn't interrupt. After about 10 minutes, when she saw Shinjai snap out of it, Dong Wenhua said, "If you choose Wang Yu, your father and I will not agree. Wang Yu has been way too wild overseas. I won't let my daughter marry such a loser, but I have only one request for you. First, figure out what love is, and what marriage is. Why did I bring you to meet him once? Me, because I believe the child raised by Sister Ingzi can't be bad. Her character and integrity will be fine." Dong Wenhua paused for a moment, even more stunning this time around. "Honestly, if you agree, I'll do everything I can to set things up for Sister Ingzi, and make it happen between you two. Even if we help you hold the wedding now. Thoughtful and organized, caring, smooth on the outside, but has a code inside. The perfect son-in-law material. Haha, what do you think?" Shinjai looks sad. Her eyes look away. Dong Wenhua thinks his daughter can't let go of Wang, and he understands his daughter's childhood sweetheart fantasy. No further communication. Started the car and headed back to the city. Shinjai remained silent the whole time. The mother and daughter didn't speak to each other anymore. As the sky darkened, they returned to Xiangshanju, one of the earlier villas in Penang, with a Republican-era style. Strict security at the gate. When the guard saw it was the Shin family's car, he let them in, called Shin's father to help move things. Shin's father couldn't wait and asked if there were any coarse corn grits and salted fish. After learning they brought a lot, he shouted, "Good, good, good." Dong Wenhua sees her husband happy. She happily talks about what she's seen and heard over the past 2 days. Dong Wenhua and her husband go into the kitchen to prepare dinner. Shinjai returns to her own room. Shinjai bathes and changes clothes, sits at the dressing table drying her hair, looks at herself in the mirror, thinking about what her mother said, her facial expression pensive, from furrowed brows of worry, then becomes clear-minded determination. Shun's father helps Dong Wenhua as an assistant, and casually asks how I am. Dong Wenhua answers a bit annoyed. "Me? I'm great. Absolutely the top choice for a good son-in-law. It's just that she didn't seem to like Jai. Not that she didn't like her, but rather she has no intention of climbing the social ladder." He asked Sister Ingzi to tell me. The agreement is off. Sister Ingzi also hears Ling Yu's father Shin say, then ponders. Dong Wenhua then talks about my behavior and character. Shin's father says, "Really that good? If I get a chance I should meet Dong Wenhua." Then says to her husband, "It's no use you meeting him. I have a feeling that kid will like me as soon as he sees me." And wanted to make him his son-in-law. Even though he's not my son, there's still that kind of closeness, like the illusion that he was already our son-in-law. The priest paused, with a look of disbelief, and said, "Nonsense. Just a heat-induced hallucination." Dong Wenhua continued, "Fine, don't believe me." The way she looked at me, I could tell Ling Yu wanted to take me as his godmother. If it weren't for me and Sister Ingzi disagreeing, I could have had an extra son by now. Oh, forget it, I'm done talking. The more I talk, the more I feel like the kid is deliberately distancing himself from us. I said it felt so weird back then. Now I get it. That kid just doesn't want any connection with our family. Love. He pulled a clever retreat to advance move. He's disgusted with me. I'm pissed now. In anger, she slams the fish she's cleaning onto the cutting board. "You cook while I cool down." Shin. Father looks utterly bewildered. What does this have to do with me? Dong Wenhua's chest is heaving. I'm angry because I've been pushing away my own family. Dong Wenhua thinks to herself, "You bastard. My daughter is so perfect. Why don't you just get lost?" It really drives the mother-in-law up the wall. It was the height of summer. Heat waves rolled in. Even at sunrise you could feel the scorching heat. The cicadas began their daily toil. She just loves to sing. Whether or not anyone in this world understands what she's singing about. It's all about being happy herself. Another beautiful day. After the Shin mother and daughter left, Ling Yu really felt a lot more at ease. Ling Yu pushed open the balcony window, squinting his eyes slightly, lingering greedily on the air as he breathed. It was just too relaxing. Even the air was filled with sweetness. Ling Yu shouted into the air, "I'm as free as the wind." Just then Jiang Fengying stuck her head out from the first floor, glaring sideways at Ling Yu and said, "Get down here." Ling Yu dazed replied, "Okay, Mom." After breakfast, Ling Yu helped his father mend the fishing net. High tide was at 10 this morning. Ling Yu asked, "Dad, it's almost jellyfish season again, isn't it? Are there a lot this year?" "Not sure yet. The last few days I've seen a few people manage to catch some. Remember last year's harvest was pretty good. The old man was pulling in 300 to 500 pounds every day. After autumn he could make over 20,000. There's a difference between sea jellyfish and sand jellyfish. Sand jellyfish are cheap. Sea jellyfish are expensive. Sand jellyfish are big and heavy. Sea jellyfish are small and light. After bringing the sea jellyfish back, separate the tentacles from the bell. Rinse them clean with fresh water. Pickle them with alum. Don't add water. That dehydrates the jellyfish. There were also buyers who took them right off the beach, Ling Yu noticed. Thinking to himself about how to make some money on his own, Ling's father finished mending, then packed up the tools, put them in the sidecar of the three-wheeled motorcycle and headed home. Took a short rest, watching the clock, waiting for the time to set out. Ling Yu, gear up fully, followed his father out to sea. The ride in the sidecar of the three-wheeler was bumpy as hell. The days passed one after another. Ling Yu's life was calm and fulfilling, especially back when the whole family was still young. Ling Yu counted down the days until Saturday, July 10th, because on the night of Sunday, July 11th, Uncle Wong had hit the jackpot. July 10th was bright and sunny. Ling Yu got up early. After breakfast, he started making a plan. Ling Yu's plan was to buy just one ticket, with the same numbers Uncle Wong had won with back then. Then keep those 6 red numbers unchanged. And for the other 15 blue numbers, buy 200 tickets for each number. If he got 4 red numbers, he'd profit from 3 reds plus 1 blue. A small loss, but Ling Yu was gambling on probability. Even if the odds shifted just a little, he figured the blue number was most likely to change. Uncle Wong had the same numbers. So why did he only buy 1 ticket? He got time off from Boss Jiang. Set off at 9 o'clock. Hopped on his beloved little scooter. No traffic jams along the way. Rode straight to the lottery station in town. It had only been open for a little while. There were quite a few people. Ling Yu patiently waited in line, thinking to himself that these were all people contributing to the nation's welfare. Though few would be lucky enough to win big, but they were making a charitable contribution, and also buying a little hope. When it was Ling Yu's turn, he took out the money, the red envelope from his mother-in-law, pulled out 6,000 bucks, then fished 2 $1 coins from his pocket. Ling Yu double-checked. All correct. Took out his wallet, carefully put the money inside. Then the wallet went into his backpack. The lottery station owner was totally confused. He'd never seen anyone buy tickets like this, and Ling Yu had no idea what the lottery station owner thought. Ling Yu was riding his beloved little scooter to the small market to buy some beef. Lately he'd been getting hungry way too fast, and he wasn't gaining any weight. Figured he needed to add some nutrition. Once dreamed of traveling the world with a sword in hand, to see the world's splendor. A young heart, humming a famous song from another life, rode home on a bike, put down my stuff, ran to my room, carefully stashed away the lottery ticket. Ling Yu saw his mother picking green beans, grabbed a stool to help. Picking beans, he asked Mom, "How come you and Dad never had a second kid?" "I don't care about siblings. I'd love them," Jiang Fengying said testily. "Back then, you had to pay fines. Who could afford that? Plus, raising one was hard enough. How would we raise another?" Ling Yu thought it over. That made sense. "Mom, I'm about to start college. Only come home once every 6 months. Won't you and Dad get lonely?" Jiang Fengying hadn't caught on to what Ling Yu was implying. Gave him a look. Ling Yu said seriously, "Mom, I think you and Dad should consider having a second kid." Jiang Fengying glared at Ling Yu. "Keep talking nonsense, and I'll break your legs." Ling Yu made a face, like, "Why are you like this?" "Mom, I'm serious," Ling Yu said. "My grades are good. My major's decent. I can support myself. No problem at all. My future career and marriage are sorted. I think you should really consider what I'm saying. I'm being totally serious. I can even take care of the second kid myself. They'll go to school in the city with me starting from elementary. You and Dad can stay in the village if you want, or move to the city and live with me." Jiang Fengying looked at her son's earnest expression, puzzled. If anything seemed off, she'd make sure Ling Yu learned exactly why flowers are so red. Jiang Fengying didn't notice her dog son wasn't messing with him. She said, "Get lost." Ling Yun had a look of "I knew it," said, "Good mom," and stepped into the yard. Pulled out a cigarette. While smoking, he thought, should have had a second kid. God, they never know when they'll get sent back again. Having a second kid would be great. You could even whup him once in a while. While smoking, he ran his hand back through his hair. Realized it was getting a bit long. Went back inside, grabbed some cash, and headed toward the media center. Meanwhile, the tide was high at sea. Some were out fishing, some were cooking. Yunji Beauty Salon had no customers. Ling Yun walked in with a smile. Inside, a woman had her long hair pinned up with a hair stick. She wore a dark red top under a white sheer batwing blouse. It just barely covered her waistline. Underneath, a narrow white triangle panty liner. White, slightly see-through wide-leg pants. Cream-colored block heel sandals. Green-faced walking estrogen. No wonder she could slay every man in Dragon King Village. And it didn't matter what age, right? Shouldn't have come. Ling Yun thought, this young body can't handle it. He steeled his resolve. No demon can disturb a Tao master's peace. Pure heart like water. Clear water is the heart. Breeze cannot reach. No ripples, no waves. A lone phoenix sits, playing a zither with a long cry. Ling Yu knew he had to speak first. So as he entered, he said, "Auntie, keeping busy? I'm here for a haircut." Yu Yunji turned at the sound, looked at Ling Yun, thought to herself, nice build, and such a cute young pup in the sunlight. A smile spread across her face. She said, "Little fish is here. Sit down. How do you want it cut?" Ling Yun sat down and thought for a moment. Looking at Auntie, she said, How about a buzz cut?" Yu Yunji nodded and agreed. Then she took out the barber cape, put it on, then took out a small spray bottle. Sprayed some water, combed and cut. Back then, rural barbershops didn't wash hair first, and definitely didn't have you lie down for a young girl or guy to wash your hair. Ling Yun immediately started his con man routine to offer a special deal for the whole village. Started pitching Yu Yunji how to use an enamel wash basin, so customers would love coming for haircuts in both summer and winter. No need to wash at home or boil hot water. Here you can wash and cut all at once. You can raise the per customer price a little. Ling Yun. Auntie's eyes started sparkling from Ling Yun's pitch. Ling Yun felt it was working, decided to up the ante. He said, "Auntie, just think, people from all 10 nearby villages will come. You're bound to make money cutting hair here." Yu Yunji was still swayed by Ling Yun. A look of eagerness appeared. Ling Yun kept piling it on. He continued, "Plus, with your figure and vibe, Auntie, you'll win over men, women, young, and old from 10 villages. Exciting to think about, right? Who knows, you might need to take on an apprentice. Probably too busy to keep up. Then go learn nail art. All the young girls from 10 villages. And the young wives, you'll win them over too. You'll probably need another apprentice. You'll be swamped. No way you can handle it all." Yu Yunji stared at Ling Yun, eyes sparkling. Ling Yun, nail art? What nail art? She'd spotted a business opportunity. Even her voice sounded lively and smooth. Ling Yun grabbed Auntie's fair, slender hand, repeating his sales pitch, patiently explaining the beauty of nail art, and gave her hand a little squeeze. Then went into the marketing strategy for nail art. Yu Yunji shot him a flirtatious glance, listening happily, afraid of missing anything. Half price during the grand opening. After 1 month, regular customers who bring a new customer get 20% off. Become a member, get 2 free visits with a 200 yuan top-up. Get 1 free visit with a 100 yuan top-up. Let go of Aunt's hand. Continue the haircut. The Q&A is the haircut itself. Yu Yunji picks up the hairdryer to dry his hair. The haircut is finished. Yu Yunji says to Ling Yu with admiration, "That's why they say, a scholar's mind works well. If your idea succeeds, your whole family can get haircuts here at Old Shi's for free." Ling Yu laughs heartily, nods and agrees. When he's about to take out money to pay, Yu Yunji refuses to take anything. Using a few flirtatious glances, he sees Ling Yu out the door. Ling Yu goes home laughing all the way, feeling pleased with himself. After rebirth, riding swiftly on the horse. So this is how knowledge can be used. I wake up the next morning and find that life is full of beauty everywhere. Because Ling Yu is not a brick mover yet. Because Ling Yu decides this matter must make him happy. For breakfast, Director Jiang pairs it with corn grits porridge. Yesterday's beef buns are pan-fried until crispy and fragrant. There are small leaf fish jerky and drizzled fish. After breakfast, in my heart, I was grateful to Boss Jiang for that meal. I said to my mom, acting all spoiled, "Mom, oh mom." Boss Jiang lifted her foot. She swung a kick right onto my butt. She said, disgusted, "You talk to your mother properly. You hear me?" I grinned and said cheekily, "Okay, mom." My old man was laughing his head off on the side. A classic Chinese dad. I kept being cheeky and said, "Mom, did you think about what I mentioned yesterday?" Boss Jiang glared and said, "Get lost. Later, go fishing with your dad. You do nothing all day. All you know is eating." I said gloomily, but inside I felt wronged and thought, what I talk to you about is serious stuff. There's nothing more serious than this. If I were to disappear again, you'd still have the second kid to keep you company. I couldn't help sighing. Well, I thought about it. I don't know if the lottery ticket will win. Winning. I believe that if I lose, it's fate. I wasn't too worried. If I win, then the startup capital would come faster. If I don't win, then I'll have to earn the first pot of gold through sweat. Set up a stall in the storage, selling my strength. I smiled brightly, but I ended up helping my old man to bring in money for the family. I'm proud. I'm proud. The day went by in a hustle. The haul was good. Went to the small market and sold everything. Total was 150 yuan. I bought my old man a bottle of Nulanchen and headed home. At home, Mom was busy at the stove. The place was full of the aroma of home cooking. After a long, tiring day, coming home, both body and mind feel at ease. The TV was airing Little Soldier Zhang Ga. I watched it with great enjoyment. I waited until 9:10. I I switched the TV to the China Education channel. I got out paper and a pen. Smoking a cigarette, I waited quietly. If I said I wasn't nervous, that'd be impossible. Anyone who knows the lottery numbers beforehand and buys them ahead of time, how could they not be excited? Who could imagine someone could go back in time and bought the numbers that they already knew would win? How could they not be excited? Who could imagine someone could go back in time? And how can you be sure the numbers won't change? Nervous or not? I was feeling both excited and nervous, all jittery inside. The drawing. First red number, second red number, third red number, got it. Even though I can take things in stride, my heart was still clenching. Fourth red number, fifth red number, no good. I instantly felt a huge letdown. The drawing continued, and the sixth red number came out. I jumped up from my chair in a flash, and muttered under my breath, oh yeah, I knew in my gut. It all came down to 1/3 prize or 200 third prizes. The drawing went on. The blue number came up blue. The number definitely changed. It was supposed to be 07, but 11 came out. Oh my god. I whispered. Solid, it's locked. Right then, all I wanted was to be quiet, calm down, and have a cigarette. After I settled my mind, I grabbed a pen and roughly calculated on paper. How many sixth prizes were there? About how much money? After crunching the numbers, I couldn't hold back the excitement. Around 900,000. I smugly thought I was the lord of the universe. My salary from a past life. And heaven handed me another one. Just cracked the door open a bit, yeah. That phone gaga. A dumbass kid couldn't sleep half the night, since that first bucket of gold had landed. Then the initial capital wouldn't be far off. Charge forward. The young old boy. I planted a seed. And finally it bore fruit. Today is a great day. I sang and danced. In the end, I was just too damn tired to stay awake, so I finally fell into a deep sleep. The next morning I got up, and felt like money was floating in the air. Even though I didn't win the jackpot, this amount was enough to get a whole lot done. It's fair to call it the first pot of gold. After breakfast, I asked Boss Jiang for time off. Said I had plans with a classmate to head to Fengqing today. Get familiar with the surroundings ahead of time. Stay for 3 to 5 days. After respectfully listening to Director Jiang's instructions. Bring your own ID card. A small backpack. Put on a baseball cap and head out. Follow the route to Fengqing. First take a bus from the town to Bingcheng. Then from Bingcheng to Fengqing. Take a train or a Huaiyue Express bus. After nearly 5 hours. Finally arrive at the Prize Redemption Center registration desk at 1 o'clock. Sign and confirm at the registration window intercom. Told there's no tax to pay. Get the check. Take a photo with the props and leave. Go to the designated bank window. I deposit the money into my own bank card. Find a noodle shop and order an egg-fried noodles. With an apple-flavored Xingmu soda. Eat 2 cloves of garlic. Pour some aged vinegar into the fried noodles. The familiar combination. The familiar taste. Everything feels so good. Come out of the noodle shop. Get on the bus heading to Fengcheng University. I find a seat by the window. Sit down. Look up out the window at the second hometown I know from my past life. Still exactly the same. Someone who just regained their past life memories. Always has a bit of worry. Afraid it's all just a dream. Slowly I start to feel grounded and excited. I want to buy an apartment near the university. Preferably the Shangshi Meijing complex at the West Gate. Back then it was a new development. I went to buy daily necessities at the start of my past life semester. The sales office had a huge banner. A stage was set up in front of the sales office. I just remember the hostess was really pretty. I stared for a bit, so it left a strong impression. Get off at the West Gate. I go straight to the sales office. The sales office lady greets me warmly. Me. First look at the floor plans. I watch as the lady brings me a cup of coffee. I chat with the lady while sipping my coffee. The young lady introduced herself as Yu Hui. Yu Hui. She gave a professional smile, looking at my young face. I figured this deal probably wasn't going to happen. Thinking to myself, just ask already. Just say it. Just leave already. Don't waste my time making money for baby formula. I finished my coffee. Seeing that she still patiently answered my questions, I acknowledged her professional attitude. I asked to go see the apartments. Yu Hui readily agreed, so she asked which units I wanted to see. She was about to point to the floor plans. Let's look at these two. One is 88 square meters. One is 140 square meters. After we checked out each one, we went back to the sales office. I was ready to talk price. I let Yu Hui start with the pricing, starting at 3,000 per square meter for the finishing. Back then, 1,500 a month was considered a good salary. I ended up picking the 140 square meter unit, finished but no appliances included. During the opening period, a 20,000 deposit counted as 50,000. I liked the quiet upstairs, so I chose the top floor, the 11th. It came with a 50 square meter loft. The total price was 395,000. During my bargaining with Yu Hui asked her boss and saved me 100 per square meter. Then another 1,000 off. The final price was 380,000. I paid in full. It's not like I couldn't afford it. Under the stunned gaze of the young lady, I swiped my card and got the keys. After paying the utility and property fees, I left the sales office with a tender look from the young lady. I had gotten my first home in this life or the last, my very own place, and paid in full. The reason I wanted to buy a house was threefold. First, I was pretty happy living in the dorm in my past life, but the smell was way too strong. If any of you guys in a college dorm are just as clean and tidy as me living together, then you must be a noble from a past life. A men's dorm is never just one or two people who like cleanliness. Can it even be kept tidy? Those who know. In my past life, I lived in the wedding house my ex-father-in-law prepared. Luxurious, clean, and tidy, plus my actual age. 2 lifetimes combined, I'm almost 54. I still prefer quiet more. Second, living alone gives more freedom. Doesn't interfere with my money-making plans. Third, I caught this good timing. The more houses, the better. Even if I need cash urgently, I can mortgage and take out a loan. Besides the 3 points above, actually, I have deeper considerations. I said to myself deep down, clever me, if I just let it be, the sky would darken without my control. I feel a bit tired. Find a hot pot place and eat some meat. Then find an inn to wash up. Get a good night's sleep. I should take a bath. Find someone to give me a foot massage. But I really don't feel like moving. A tired man, that's just how it is. Lying in bed, I fell asleep almost instantly. No dreams all night. The inn's soundproofing is lacking. Last night, though I was very tired, I fell asleep as soon as I lay down. From when the mall opened, I was inside browsing and picking items. Paid and had deliveries made until around noon. I bought everything I needed. Spent just over 10,000. Tonight, I'm not going to the inn. Although the new place has a bit of a smell. It's better for being quiet and comfortable. I thought I'd go check out the school in the afternoon. Then later decided that in Wuhan, school starts in another month. When that time comes, if nothing unexpected happens, I'll see those beasts from my past life dorm. Faces one by one. Events one by one come to my mind. Underwear worn the right way for half a month. Then turned inside out for half a month. Sun Liang. Strong inside. Honest on the outside. The beast Qing Liang, working hard to change his fate. Attracted by looks. Jumengzi Wang Han. Looks grand and generous. The last one left is old Six Gatu, the one I miss the most. In the previous life, the two were the closest. I smirked. I made the mistake every reborn person makes. I wanted to show off for her again. Take her to the top. I despised myself. Next, I gave the room a revolutionary deep cleaning. Thoroughly cleaned every nook and cranny. It was midsummer. Sweating like crazy. After completely tiring myself out, I was unbearably hungry. So I changed clothes and went to find food. After eating and drinking my fill, I checked the time. Long night ahead. Can't sleep, what to do? Taking a bath, happily decided to go to the bathhouse. What's that saying again? Across the country, bathhouses. In the Northeast, quite a few people are bathing at this hour. And most are decent people. But can't rule out someone in the next stall asking for a scrub. I shouted, add salt, add milk, add vinegar. I'm not adding anything. Changed into a bathrobe. Went upstairs to the Thai massage area. 1 full session. After a while, a female warrior walked in. I gave her a look. Shouted, get me a different one. She left angrily and slammed the door. The noise was quite loud. No kidding. I don't want to be tortured. A moment later, another one came in. This one looks good. The massage was quite comfortable. I was about to fall asleep. Finally, the young lady asked, sir, want to add more time? I shook my head, thinking, I'm here for a legitimate massage. The young lady asked persistently, sir, want to push? I shook my head and said, I'm here for a legitimate massage. Miss, get serious. The young lady rolled her eyes and walked away. I thought to myself, is it this hard to be a decent person? Went home to sleep. Early the next morning, I set off back to Ice City. Then from Ice City back to the town. Then took a motorcycle taxi home. As soon as I reached the front door of the main house, I called out, Mom, I'm back. General Manager Jiang came out of the house. Seeing his boy, he said with a beaming smile, did little fish go check out the school? Is the school big? Is the environment nice? I laughed and said, my mother was worried about me going to school in the future. A warm current flowed through my heart. Looking warmly at my mother, I said, the school is really big. Covers nearly 4,000 mu. The campus is clean and tidy. Jiang Fengying saw that her son was quite satisfied with the school. Immediately relieved, she said, son, you haven't eaten lunch, have you? Let me make you something to eat. I happily replied, okay. Then I went back to my own room. Changed into a tank top, shorts and flip-flops. Quickly finished eating. I went to help my old father finish up all the things that needed to be done. Proud of contributing to the family income. At around 3 in the afternoon, father and son finished selling the goods and went home. Today we only made 100 yuan. Shower, eat, sleep, get up, eat, go out to sea. Every day repeats like this. My biggest gain is that my body is getting better and better. I can eat more and more, and my whole body is getting muscular. But my skin color has also become darker. Thus a week passed. Called Fatty. The call connected. Told Fatty to come pick me up, then treat him to a meal. Fatty came bustling over happily. The two of them got on the motorcycle and headed toward the town. I told Fatty to wait for me at the entrance of the cosmetic store. She went in to buy some facial skincare for her mom, and some sunscreen for herself. I was worried about being too dark, that it might affect future schoolgirls liking me. The two of them went to a barbecue stall to eat skewers, making small talk casually. I was analyzing the future of computer science majors for Fatty, advising him to master programming. Could make big money for a while. It would help a lot in pursuing the school beauty. Fatty pretended not to believe it, trying to hide his doubt. I glanced at him helplessly, thinking I'd just plant the seed of the idea first, and talk about the rest later. After eating, the two headed back home. I gave the skincare I bought to my dear mother. Mom happily accepted it, telling me not to waste money anymore. I thought to myself, the universal line women say, day after day repeated. Every day I saw the smiles on my father and mother's faces. I silently reminded myself, I must work hard to complete the initial accumulation as soon as possible. Achieve financial freedom in the future. Then I can spend more time with my parents. During that time I took one day off. I rode my motorcycle to take my mom to grandma's house to visit her, and also stopped by my uncle's houses. No matter when, you have to keep in touch with relatives. If you don't, you're worse than a neighbor. Stayed overnight at grandma's. The next morning, I took mom home early. I went back to my fisherman routine. Recently, jellyfish have started appearing, so I have to follow my father's schedule. Going out to sea at midnight is common. After coming back, I have to process the jellyfish, then shower, eat, and sleep, because I have to go out to sea again at midnight. The reason is simple. It follows the tides. Usually, the lowest tide is the best time to catch them. The amount of jellyfish caught is completely unpredictable. It's like depending on the weather. Some years there are many jellyfish. Some years there are few. It all depends on whether the heavens are generous. When the catch is good, you also need good equipment. If it's a fishing boat, large trawl net, then you really make big money. With no catch, nothing works. My family used to have a small wooden boat. Because my father went out to contract construction sites and no one took care of it, we sold it early. Time flies. It's already August 20th. These past few days, Zhang Fengying has also felt that the days leading up to my going to college have gotten sweeter. She's been treating her dog son better and better. Unconsciously, her voice has gotten a lot gentler. I feel like, oh my god, I'm so happy. Zhang Fengying cooks me different meals every day. I've never let my mother see that I can cook. Actually, I'm quite a good housewife. After all, she's been telling me for years. Zhang Fengying wants to take me to the city to buy clothes. I shook my head hard. Mom says the clothes there are cheaper. I'll buy them myself when the time comes. Mom, don't worry. I won't waste money. Zhang Fengying thought it over and said okay. So she dropped it. August 25th. Today, the atmosphere at the Lin family breakfast is a bit gloomy. The old father and old mother aren't very happy. I comforted them, saying, Mom, Dad, I'll be back for National Day. Cheer up. Originally, Father Lin had planned to take me to school. The one before was a gift from my father. But this time I refused. Said I'd go with the fat guy. Lin's father saw me off to the town. Met up with the fat guy who had already arrived. The two of us got on the bus to Penang. An hour later, the two of them transferred to the Tiger Leap Express. Arrived at Fengqing bus station a little after 1 p.m. After getting off, the fat guy was completely dazed. First time traveling far from home. I sent my good brother to school. The school between the two of them takes about an hour by bus. Settled the little fat guy in. I went back to my own home. Opened the window to let in some air. Briefly tidy up and take a shower. Feel both body and mind relaxed. Give Fatty a call. Ask how he's doing. Fatty's dorm has a friend over this time. Feels more energetic. I feel relieved. I remind him a couple of things. Hang up the phone. I think to myself, being a father isn't easy. I plan out what I need to do tomorrow. In the morning, go to the school registration station. Pay for the dorm bed and tuition. Dormitory fee. In the afternoon, go to the electronics market to buy a computer. Go to the nearby China Unicom office to schedule internet cable installation. I'll just cook a bag of instant noodles to get by. Lie down early, so tired. I dream of Fengqing, the west gate of Fengcheng University. I'm carrying a backpack, a baseball cap, aviator sunglasses, about to step into the campus I once loved. Many thoughts. Stop and look into the campus. A few junior guys with red hair. Handsome, creamy-skinned junior guys. Denim miniskirts. Pale white legs. Junior girls in sky blue bell-bottoms. Why are they all junior guys and girls? Can't they be senior guys and girls? Ling feels they are all younger brothers or sisters. Heh, when students step into the school gate, have they ever thought about what their future will be like? Golden rice bowl, silver rice bowl, iron rice bowl, or, we workers have strength. Hey, we workers have strength. This is also the choice of most people. The hair lost from staying up late, coffee grounds in the blood. Don't even dare ask for leave when something comes up, let alone take a break. This way of living, the hard-earned money brings no happiness at all. I borrow a phrase I once knew very well. Working a job is impossible to do. Actually, college is a watershed in life. You must believe that studying can change your destiny. Classmates just need to work hard. Leave the rest to fate. And studying is the path for us ordinary folks. One of the few ways to change fate through hard work. The same unchanging nature. Then we are kindred spirits. Believe it or not, I take a step, calmly walking towards the academic affairs office. Long legs in canvas shoes, sky blue jeans, a white short-sleeve shirt with a chest protector, carrying a black backpack, wearing a baseball cap, under the brim, black aviator sunglasses. The frames are dazzling in the sunlight reflection. No matter how you look at it, it's flashy. A small quilt, a pillow and a wash basin. Blue duvet cover, pillowcase and bedsheet. White duvet cover. After military training, fold it into a tofu block and spread it on top. Standard issue. I sling the large green duffel bag over my shoulder with one hand. With the other hand, I carry the basin and walk toward the dormitory. These few things for him now. As light as a feather. Piece of cake. The weather is hot. I felt the tofu pudding I had this morning was a bit. So I went to the University Service Center next to the South District Market. Bought a bottle of iced tea. Gulp gulp. Half a bottle of strong liquor relieved a lot. Took out his phone and looked. Time should be about right. So he set off again. Why am I wandering around the South District not far from the Academic Affairs office without being in a hurry? Can be said that he wanted to verify the historical relationship, to make predictions about some future events. It can also be said to be something already known in the unseen. To put it not so politely, it's just waiting out of lust. That was a song in his heart from the past. Even though he was told by the other that career is important, and was abandoned for leaving to a distant place. But that longing for first love, the expectation of meeting him again drove me to linger. Even though I went through many mental struggles last night, clearly knowing it shouldn't be, but he still came, because in her, there was once a time when they loved each other. Yes, because in love it's actually hardest to know yourself. Trust that sentence. I only thought about whether I should meet her again, whether I could bear to let her hurt her again. I never considered if what he was doing was just pathetic simp behavior. Thinking back to the scene from back then, quickened my pace. Waited under a plane tree, sitting on the curb, fanning myself with the brim of my hat, both eyes constantly scanning behind my sunglasses. After smoking 2 cigarettes, a guy came toward me carrying the same luggage as me in his left hand, and a suitcase in the other, followed by a girl. The girl was pulling a suitcase. They both walked my way. I had chosen the spot on purpose, right here before, watching from about 100 meters away. The girl's features gradually came into focus. She looked about 5 feet 9 inches. Actually 5 feet 10 inches. I knew that. The girl wore a baseball cap, her jet black hair tied in a high ponytail, coming out through the back of the cap, past her shoulders, sky blue jeans, straight, long legs. The proportion of leg length to hips was just right. A pair of white high-top canvas shoes, a white short-sleeve shirt under a light jacket. The stitching was perfect. Suddenly the girl stopped for some reason, angry, yelling at the guy next to her, emotionally charged. The stitching rose and fell rapidly. The guy said something to her. Then, they kept walking, but the girl lagged a step behind. As the distance kept shrinking, her face came fully into view. She had an oval face, a high, delicate nose, lips like cherry blossoms, peach blossom eyes, slightly straight eyebrows. The space between his brows and eyes is just right, slightly prominent cheekbones covered with flesh. His features are well-proportioned, harmonious, picture-perfect proportions. Gives the whole face a strong three-dimensional feel. I didn't move. He was waiting for a chance to strike. Not a simp. Doesn't even have that advanced skill. The guy and the girl walked past me and kept going. The guy deliberately slowed his pace, pretended to adjust his luggage bag, and edged his body closer to the girl. I was already getting pissed off, but I still waited patiently. It wasn't at that level yet. The girl was getting harassed. The girl with the nice but suddenly got furious. Do you have a problem? Using the pretense of helping to harass a new female student. Don't be mad. I really didn't mean to. This is the second time. I'm going to report you to the disciplinary office. Give me your name. Junior, I've taken a liking to you. Let's be together. The girl got flustered. Put your stuff down. Get the hell out. The guy saw that the junior wasn't falling for either gentle or tough tactics, and had no angle. He put down the luggage. started tugging. Getting handsy. Time's up. I stood up, took a few strides forward, since it was still 2 days before school started. And it was early. There were barely any people on the street. That guy's timing was just right. I immediately shoved the guy, making him stagger. I shielded the girl behind me and told him to get lost, or I'll beat you up, and after I beat you, we'll go to the disciplinary office and have a word. See if we can get you something. I looked at him coldly, thinking about a few days of bread and water or a punishment plan. Or else get expelled from school. Which guy do you choose? Looking at the one half a head taller than him, I couldn't help feeling a bit satisfied. Said with bluster but actually scared. If you've got guts, wait right here. After saying that, he took out his phone. I looked and thought, oh ho, he's about to call in backup. I crossed my arms over my chest, watching him perform. The girl's line of sight was completely blocked by me. Not exactly nervous or angry, but deep down, a feeling quietly settled in. Safety. I turned the brim of my cap to the back, said with a roguish smile, stop pretending. A decent person, who'd help you fight on campus. If I hadn't stepped in, you'd be stupid. As your words fell, I walked toward him. The guy took off running, not forgetting to turn his head and shout, if you've got the guts, you just wait, I'm gonna throw a rock at you. Watch out. I pretended to bend down and scoop something off the ground. Stood up, aimed, and swung my hand at that guy. The guy panicked and ran blindly, sprinting for his life. I used the technique Grandma taught me to pick up rocks. The technique to hit dogs. It works every time. Works on scumbags too, haha. I turned and looked at her. The her from before and the her now slowly overlapped. Took off my sunglasses and folded them on my collar. Smiled at the girl, showing my teeth. Hi. Mechanical engineering, freshman this year. After saying that, I held out my hand. The girl looked at me hesitantly, thinking to herself, what should I do? This one looks even tougher than the previous guy. Gazing into my eyes, clear and transparent, especially clean in the sunlight, slowly reached out her hand. Decided to trust my own judgment, even though the person who helped just now couldn't tell if there was any gambling involved. I gently held the tips of her slender fingers. Touch and then let go. Hello. Shinjai. Broadcasting and hosting major. Freshman this year. If you're okay with it, I'll help you, just 2 meals will do. How about it? I hesitated a little, showing 8 teeth, said with a smile. Shinjai lightly furrowed her delicate brows. Dawdling. Not like him at all. Decided to take a gamble right then. Thanks for earlier. Then I'll trouble you. I'll treat you to 2 meals then. I shook my head, smiled and said 2 meals is enough. Otherwise you might cry. Shinjai, the season was autumn wind. The air was dry, crisp and pleasant, but the weather was still a bit hot. The two walked for over 20 minutes. Shinjai took off her thin jacket. I had nothing to take off, even though my chest and back were already soaked. I felt everything was so beautiful, especially since the university he was at had a long history, dating back to the Republic of China era. The roads on campus were almost all asphalt. At this time they were especially scorching. On both sides of the road, the ginkgo or plane trees hadn't shed many leaves yet. When the weather cools down a bit, and you have to wear a jacket, both sides of the road are covered with leaves. Bright golden leaves. The golden avenue is very meaningful. Walking, and keeping an eye on. Shinjai, trying to overlap the her from before and the her now. Fragments of memory, made me a bit dazed. Shinjai saw that I had nothing to say. A bit embarrassed. Let's rest over there. Don't push yourself too hard. No rush anyway. He pointed at the plane tree ahead and said. Her bright eyes looked at me. I set down the suitcase and bedding. Stretched my muscles. Honestly, I didn't feel tired at all. Sure, I was sweating a lot, but my stamina is really good now. Shinjai took a bottle of water out of her backpack. Handed it to me. Have some water first. Thank you so much. If I were alone, I really couldn't carry it back. And about what happened earlier. I twisted off the cap, gulped it down in one go, let out a burp. You're welcome. Is there a chance I really was waiting for you? Ha, Shinjai gave a playful glance. There's a chance. But how do you know I wasn't waiting for you? I looked at her sparkling appearance. Shinjai laughed happily. Her smile was like a flower. It left me a little stunned. Shinjai's wisdom seems like from a past life. Leaving home for a better future. Chasing her own dreams. People with dreams are worth respecting. Because they already know their goal. Of course I'm happy for Shinjai. But I don't have that strong urge to possess. To demand a response from her. Still, we're all just human. Looking at her delicate face. Her perfect figure. In my heart, I overturned that thought. I still want to give it a shot. If I don't try, wouldn't I be no better than a salted fish? Try, just go for it. Is it just coveting who she is? We talked more. Shinjai's guard slowly came down, looking at me in front of her. Sunny and handsome. He speaks and acts with restraint. Very safe. Past life experiences. Shinjai thinks. Money brings a sense of security. But in my case, it gets a different interpretation. Maybe it's a woman's intuition. Very sure I won't hurt myself. Could it also be based on appearance? Probably not. Shinjai has seen too many handsome guys. Take a short break. I took her all the way north. Go at 12 o'clock. When passing by building north 2, I gestured with my chin. This is my dorm building. Wait for me here. Let me take this up first. Pointed at his bedding. Shinjai smiled and nodded. Put down his bedding and suitcase. Holding his own bedding, strode into the dorm room. Opened the door. Chose an upper bunk by the window. Put down the luggage. Communicated with the dorm matron in building north 12. Saw Shinjai to her dorm. Found that she was also the first to arrive in her dorm. They were in a 4-person dorm. With my advice, she chose a bed in the same position as mine. I helped tidy up a bit, but worried that I might be in the way. It's nothing. I'll go first. I still need to buy some things. If you're not familiar with the area, give me a call. Well, thank you. Can I have your phone number? I'll treat you to a meal later. I recited a series of numbers. Shinjai saved it into her phone. Samsung E808. This phone was very popular among women. At that time, it cost around 2,000 something. Because of its compact appearance. This design was appealing. Once a big hit. After exchanging phone numbers, I left. Shinjai politely walked me downstairs. Passing by the supermarket, I bought a bottle of iced tea. Unconsciously singing Io. My God, didn't dare drink anything cold. Started a health-conscious routine. My Hunyuan boy's kung fu is almost mastered. Nothing to worry about. Life is precious. How dare I go back to the flames. Back in the dorm room. Found a guy inside packing his bedding. Round face. Straight nose. Broad forehead. Fair skin. Thick eyebrows, short hair. Coarse and curly hair. Tight, dark curls like lamb's wool. Their dorm's leader, Qin Liang. Hello. Qin Liang is from Jiqing. Part of dorm 512. Hello. From Ice City. Also a member here. Qin Liang and I each made our beds. After finishing, grabbed towels and basins, went to the washroom to clean up, changed into clean clothes. I sat on the stool to rest, chatting on and off with Qin Liang. The classic Nokia ringtone went off. Shinjai? Hello. I listened quietly. Okay. Bring your meal card up. Recharge it at the cafeteria. I stood up. Bro Liang. I'm going to eat. I'll leave you to it. Qin Liang said. Sure. I reminded him not to forget to recharge the meal card. Then went downstairs toward North 12. Met Shinjai downstairs at Building 8 North. They exchanged a smile. Where are we going for lunch? Walking along the 3rd cafeteria in the North District. I was introducing. There are 16 dormitory buildings in the North area. There are 4 cafeterias. The food at Cafeteria 3 is the best. Shinjai, with a look that said, the two of us, took out her meal card to add money. The staff loaded the amount onto the meal card. When eating, just swipe the card at each window. I took Shinjai to get familiar with getting meals. The window for getting dishes. I got 2 portions of rice. 1 portion is about 1 bowl now, 1 portion costs 40 cents. Shinjai got a steamed bun. 20 cents. I ordered 2 portions of beef. 1 serving of braised pork. 1 meat dish costs 3 yuan. Very friendly for carnivores. If you want to keep your figure, eat beef and then have a shrimp. Eggs won't make you fat. For all the dishes I picked, Shinjai swiped her card. I wasn't embarrassed either. Found a seat facing the TV and sat down waiting for Shinjai. Shinjai went to get a bowl of soup. Got Shinjai settled in her seat. I started devouring everything like a whirlwind. Shinjai was sipping her soup elegantly. Slow down, if it's not enough you can get more, right? Too hungry. In the time it takes to smoke a cigarette, I let out a satisfied burp. I reached my hand out toward Shinjai. The meal card, give me the meal card. I'm still not full. Shinjai's pink lips parted slightly. Just 2 meals then. 2 days, I'm afraid you'll cry. This line came to mind, is it that exaggerated? But you underestimate your big sister's wallet. Let's see how much you can actually eat. Seeing that I ordered another portion of beef, and a portion of cumin lamb, and another serving of rice, 2 bottles of Xingmu. Shinjai thought to herself. What kind of family could raise this guy? Never mind the money. All day long, just busy and doesn't cook. After Shinjai finished eating, she watched me eat slowly and deliberately. Maybe I was just really hungry earlier. But this is way too much eating. 3 meals a day cost 60 bucks. That's 1,800 a month. Keep in mind, most college students only have 500 to 600 bucks a month for living expenses. He twists open the conspicuous bottle cap, hands it to Shinjai, picks up another bottle himself, twists it open, gulps it down while the TV plays highlights from the Athens Olympics. Olympic hero Lu Xiang wins the 110-meter hurdles. My heart races. I can't help but cheer out loud. Taking a short break, I look at Shinjai in front of me. She's changed into a black short-sleeve shirt. It really shows off her figure. The mystery and toughness of genes are embodied in this young woman. It especially highlights her temperament. From time to time, the scent of her skin drifts over, full and satisfied. With a good-looking and elegant girl by my side, I feel life is just perfect right now. What does love really look like in the end? I turn to look at Shinjai. At the same time, Shinjai looks back at me. A gentle touch of our souls. It makes both me and Shinjai shiver. We immediately look away. A short silence. Do you need to buy any daily necessities? I'm free this afternoon. I can keep working to earn my keep. As for payment, a meal will do. Because Shinjai often takes part in social performances, she's more mature than others her age. She thinks I'm not like people my age. Even more mature than some working adults. Confident and deep. Not annoying. Smooth-talking. Has boundaries. Doesn't care about showing flaws in front of her. Since childhood, the people who have pursued her could really be described as lining up. But I'm not aggressive, purposefully retreating to advance. I have no idea what's going on in her head. I urge her, do you want to think it over? If not, I'm out of here. I've got things to do. Shinjai blinked her big eyes, looking a little embarrassed. I want to get used to smiling again. Can you walk around with me? I can treat you to dinner. I thought for a moment. Sure. But first, come with me to take care of something. What do you think? What is it? Buying a mode of transportation. But what I was really thinking was, is that a bicycle? That's a vehicle for love. Mode of transportation. Bicycle. Walking together, full of youthful energy, a boy and a girl. Side by side on a sun-drenched campus path. Memories drift back to a blurry childhood. Clouds floating across the blue sky. Back then you said you'd hold my hand. And walk with me to the end of the world. The campus speakers were playing FIR's Our Love. Shinjai and I walked across campus, listening to the song. I couldn't help feeling a little sad. Looking at Shinjai beside me, I recalled memories from my past life, but the song felt out of place right then. It stirred up a sense of melancholy in me. In the first semester of her sophomore year, Shinjai chose a new direction. Career path. She gave up love for her career, which meant I never had a girlfriend all the way through college. Did I resent her? No, I didn't. When someone has to give up something for their dream, that person deserves respect. A real badass. Even if the one being given up was me. And in my past life, I later heard from classmates in bits and pieces that Shinjai had achieved remarkable success, and that she eventually married some guy from a good family. I asked myself if I dared to let the script play out again. Part of me was hopeful. Part of me refused to hope, wishing the story would just end well. But deep down, a wave of pessimism and rejection crept in. It's because I've truly, genuinely had a girlfriend. And you'd feel the same way. The pain of a first breakup, it just hurts. Genuine pain. Simple pain. Overflowing love.